Call the meeting to order. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Present.
Mr. O'Hare?
Here.
Mr. Espinola?
Here.
Mr. Booton?
Here.
Mr. Lemay?
Here.
Mr. Moran?
Here.
Mr. Tatsias?
Here.
Mr. Bahu?
Here. Mr. Lemay, is anybody registered for public appearance?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. School committee communications? Okay, there are none. The report of our student representative, Stacy Bilodeau.
Organizations and clubs. 6 of the student officers from Skills USA are gearing up for their Skills USA National Leadership and Skills Conference in Louisville, Kentucky from June 22nd to June 27th. The freshman and sophomore class officers took a trip to JG's on June 10th as an end-of-the-year celebration and reward for all their hard work throughout their school year. Members of Project Purple attended a trip to Canopy Lake on June 13th. The trip was organized by members of the group as a positive way to have fun substance-free. The freshman and sophomore class committees have wrapped up their Pennies for Patients fundraiser. They collected just under $500 to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Congratulations to sophomore and junior culinary students and to Mr. Steinberg's freshman homeroom for winning the competition. The Environmental Club received a certificate of recognition from the Department of Environmental Protection for their outstanding efforts to increase recycling and pollution prevention in our school and in the community. Students from the Outing Club recently went for a hike to the Andres Institute of Art in Brookline, New Hampshire. Students visited the sculpture park and were able to explore the artwork on the grounds. The yearbook staff is making the final edits of the class of 2015 senior yearbook. They will be working on proofreading the book and having it printed over the summer to be distributed at the homecoming game next fall. Athletics. Nearly 1,400 athletes tried out for one of our teams this year, up from 1,145 in 2013 and 2014. There were many notable achievements this year by our teams and athletes. Some of the highlights are below. Fall cheer captured yet another CAC League championship. Boys and girls cross country finished as runner-ups in the state vocational championship meet, as well as hosted the CAC League meet. Boys soccer qualified for the MIAA state tournament. Girls volleyball qualified for MIAA tourney play. Girls swim finished runner-up in the state vocational meet. Boys swim captured a second straight vocational championship. The wrestling team secured the most wins in a single season in program history, as well as qualified 5 wrestlers for the all-state meet. Boys basketball repeated as both CAC and state vocational champions, as well as advanced to the MIAA state tourney sectional semifinals. Girls basketball advanced all the way to the MIAA state tourney sectional finals, a feat never before accomplished in Lady Griffin basketball program history. Boys lacrosse has enjoyed its most successful season in the program's young history, securing 9 wins and qualified for MIAA tourney play for the first time in program history. The track and field team saw a record number of athletes turn out for the team, qualifying several athletes for the MIAA state meet. The team also hosted both the freshman and sophomore and CAC league meets, where the boys team finished first and second respectively. The tennis team rolled through their season undefeated, compiling a record of 12-0 in the league and 13-0 overall. After securing the regular season CAC crown, the team hosted the league match competition on May 18th, where they placed several top finishers. Thank you.
Stacy, thank you. We know this is your last meeting. You just graduated this past early June. You've been a great student representative of ours, sharing with us, about clubs, about the athletics, about organizations, and you've been faithful to coming here. And, we thank you for all your service. We have a thank you letter on behalf of the school committee here, and I'm gonna read it out loud because I think we all appreciate what you've done here. It says, on behalf of the Greater Lowell Technical School Committee, we would like to express our sincere appreciation for your service as the student representation to the school committee for 2013, 2014, as well as 2014 and 2015 school years. Your monthly reports were always clear, concise, and informative, and of great assistance to us while we strive to make decisions that are in the best interest of our school community. You are an outstanding young adult, and we are proud to have you as a graduate of Greater Lowell Technical High School.
Stacy, I just want to say that when you first came here, you were very quiet. Made a couple of announcements. You're up to 12 pages in the next speaker. And your age is, you're not eligible to run for school committee this year, is that correct, or next year?
I don't know how old you have to be.
Okay, all right. About 100. Yeah. I'll wait for you before I go, so we'll just see, all right? Thank you very much.
Stacy, just 1 second, Mr. Booth.
I just wanted to say, I just echoed what Mr. Bahu, Mr. O'Hare had said, and I was talking to your father earlier about that. You came in as very shy, and now you're a mature young lady who is not shy, who speaks with authority, and it was nice to see you grow like that. I just want to also thank him for bringing you all the time. I'm sure you're grateful, but very nice of him and your family that's come here before, so thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
You're a great representative, Stacy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck next year in college.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, approval of minutes for May 21, 2015. Motion by Mr. Tatsias, second by Mr. O'Hare.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola? Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, approval of report of the treasurer, approval of our warrants. Motion to approve the expenditure of $6,190,000, $200.33. Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Tatsias.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola? Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Report of general counsel. Counsel's not here tonight, so.
No
there will be
report this evening. No, no report.
And the report of our superintendent director. Mr. Bourgeois?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bahu. So we got quite a few things on my report, as we normally do at the June meeting, with it being the end of the year and preparations for next year. There's quite a few things to go over and get taken care of. But the first one is a request for you to accept a donation. We're forming a very strong business partnership. We've been meeting for the last couple of months with a representative from CVS. And he's here tonight, and he's going to do a presentation on basically where, a little bit about the company, but also where the discussions in our partnership have led to. And it will culminate in requesting that you accept the donation that he's offering to make on behalf of CVS to the school. So I'd like to introduce a past graduate, an alumnus of the school, Mr. Jonathan Da Silva.
Good evening, how are you guys doing?
Welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
So I'll just give you guys a quick introduction. My name is Jonathan Da Silva. I graduated from the school in 2002, and I currently work for CVS in the Workforce Initiatives Department as a senior consultant. And what we do with CVS in this department is we look for how we can strengthen our bonds with the community, how we can prepare youths, seniors, or veterans for a career in the workforce. So we're looking to strengthen bonds and not offer jobs, but we want to be able to offer careers. So I put together a presentation to show you guys today. If you wanted to direct your vision to the screen. All right. Let's turn this on. No, I'm all set. Okay, so CVS Health, we're a pharmacy innovation company, okay? And one of our purposes, our main purpose is helping people on the path to the better health. And that's something that CVS strives in almost everything we do. And our values, every decision we make has to go through our value system. And our values are innovation, collaboration, caring, integrity, and accountability. Quick company overview. Currently, and this is before we bought all of Target's pharmacies 2 days ago, and before we acquired Omnicare last week, we employed more than 200,000 colleagues in 46 states. We're the first and only national pharmacy chain to ban the sale of tobacco. We're the number 1 provider of prescriptions nationwide. We have the number 1 retail loyalty program, which started in downtown Lowell. That's where the first CVS was in downtown Lowell, and it's still there today on Market Street. We are the number 1 retail medical clinic provider. So, Minute Clinic, we have 850 locations, and we just purchased Target's 80 clinics, which are going to be rebranded as Minute Clinics within the next year and a half, 18 months max. We have the number 1 specialty pharmacy, known as Quorum or infusion centers, which are throughout the country, and we have one over in Norwood. And we serve more than 65 million members with our CVS Health plan. We have we actually have 7 corporate locations, but 4 corporate locations close to major metropolitan areas. So depending on where our employees want to take their career path, they could live in a major metropolitan area, commute to work, or live in the suburbs and still get out there. So for instance, if you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, you're close to Phoenix, you still have an area. Financial performance. Initially, last week when I showed this presentation to the superintendent, we were ranked 12th on the Fortune 500. In 15 days, we made it to number 10 in the Fortune 500. Our closest competitor is Walgreens at 36. Our net revenue is more than $126 billion, with an operating profit of $8 billion, free cash flow of $4.4 billion, and assets of $72 billion. That's how we were able to acquire everything we've acquired in the last few weeks. I've talked briefly about our businesses. One of the biggest things when I present to people is to understand CVS isn't just a storefront. There's various different aspects of our company. So we all fall under the umbrella of CVS Health. So CVS Pharmacy is our retail base that people are more familiar with. Then we have CVS Caremark, which is our prescriptions by mail service. We own 21% of the prescription by mail market. Then we've got our CVS Minute Clinics, which are staffed by RNs and nurse practitioners that are inside of our stores. Then we have our CVS specialty departments, which are our infusion centers and our specialty departments, such as Quorum, and going to be Omnicare is going to be added to that list. And so not just thinking outside of the box of simple stores on the corners of the streets, thinking enterprise-wide and the opportunity that these students would have to expand into the various facets of our business. 75% of the U.S. population lives within 3 miles of CVS. So regardless of where you live now, if you decide I want to uproot and move to Hawaii, there's a CVS waiting there that you can transfer to and continue your employment at the same rate of pay, regardless of the position that you're in. You decide you want to move to Texas, Puerto Rico. We operate 7,700 retail drugstores and 19 distribution centers. So there's always a place regardless of where you want to go. And we've actually spread out to all 50 states now with the acquisition of the Target pharmacies and Omnicare. So we have CVS Health presence in all 50 states in the United States. Social responsibility. One of the biggest things CVS is committed to diversity, and that's one of the things that the core values of my department. So no other company is reinventing pharmacy like we do, whether it be workforce representation, colleague engagement, talent systems, or marketplace diversity. Those are our key focuses for the Workforce Initiatives Department, and that's why I'm here today. We also offer colleague resource groups, which aid younger professionals with development, mentoring, and networking. We invest in professional development so our members can grow and excel. So when you come to CVS as a cashier and you go into college to become an architect, well, CVS builds buildings. We have an architectural department. So if you love working for us so much, why do you need to leave to go work for an architectural firm? Come work for us. If you decide to go into school to become a nurse, CVS has nursing clinics. Come work in our nursing clinic. You don't need to go work anywhere else. So the opportunities that we have and the programs that we offer to train and develop our internals are hands down industry standard. We also, last bullet point, we also provide strategic input to the company on how to best communicate the growing millennial generation. So what is the best way to communicate, to impact them while they're young? To talk to the students at the high schools, talk to the students entering colleges, and offer an opportunity to build a career and to get the training they need and the development they need so they can segue immediately into the workforce upon graduation. So what I'm hoping to offer to the school with the approval of the school committee today is a pharmacy technician training program with a mock pharmacy, an updated curriculum, staff development opportunities, LearnNet access, which is CVS's version of Blackboard, and co-op opportunities in the area. So that's what the pharmacy would look like that we're proposing. You'd have a fully functional pharmacy with medication bottles, obviously full of beans, no pills, spatulas and pill trays, lab coats, prescription pads, assignment boards, amber vials, everything you need to fill a prescription and go through the motions of learning how to do it regardless if it was at CVS or any other company. We'd also provide the work area, which has a pickup, production, drop-off area, and compounding area. Now, one of the things that I wanted to stress, which is really important, is I went to school here. The pharmacy that I acquired for you guys is a pharmacy that's only about 7 months old, and it was acquired in Falmouth, Mass., right? The pharmacy initially slated for the school was a pharmacy in Malden because it was close and it was the next door that was going to be relocating from the 80s, okay? So I went to school here. I'm invested in the future of this school. I went and I couldn't hire carpenters. There wasn't enough time. I got a phone call. I had 3 days to do it. I rallied up my staff. I said, we're going to take a trip down to Cape Cod. We're not going swimming. We're going to grab some screwdrivers and a couple of drills, and we're going to take apart a pharmacy. Had it been another school, you probably would have got that pharmacy from 1980 in Malden because I wasn't driving there Memorial Day weekend unless it was for Greater Lowell Tech. So now talking about the curriculum that we're hoping to offer, I gave Superintendent Bourgeois a binder that had the LearnRx facilitator guides, the videos, and the PowerPoints. That binder was 1/10 of what we can offer for curriculum enhancement for the school. So we also have donated 30 sets of textbooks, 3 textbooks, 30 sets of each one, textbooks, math books, and workbooks, and we also have session 1 to 4 facilitator guides for the national certification exam. So the National Certification PTCB is the Pharmacy Technician Certification Board. That's the licensing that states that you're a pharmacy technician. We've given all the study session guides in order to have these students, if they were to go through and the curriculum matched, that they could graduate pharmacy technician certified so that they would have a licensing, be able to segue into the workforce and command a $14 to $17 an hour wage at a retail chain. And they'd be able to command higher at a specialty location such as Coram or Omnicare. We'd also be providing technician specialist program, which is leaders and learners guides. So one of the things CVS is high on is training and development. So all of our learners guides teach the teacher how to facilitate, and that's something we'd offer the teachers at the Learning Center, as we offer a session called Train the Trainer, where we would train your staff to teach our material or integrate it with the material you guys already have. We'd also offer LearnNet access with temporary IDs for all the students. That temporary ID gives them online access to online assessments where the teachers can monitor their grades, monitor assessments, monitor how they're doing in the class if they're having a hard time passing things. And they can access in school and at home. And the best thing is, if they do decide to come work at CVS, which would be the greatest end goal, but if they don't, that's okay. We can merge all of their transcripts with our permanent company transcripts, so they could hit the ground running. They wouldn't have to go through our training program again. Retail store training. This was my personal favorite. I'm a little biased. I was a store manager for 7 years. So we're hoping to deliver a storefront to the store downstairs in the ME Mall with an updatable POS, with curriculum, with additional resources, LearnNet access, and cooperative opportunities. So our live storefront, we're hoping to donate a stationery section, a Hallmark section, a healthy snacks section, a trial section, 100% donated. You can sell it for whatever you want. And the profit that you make from it, we're hoping to turn into a scholarship for the school. So if we were to donate $1,500 worth of product, it would be equivalent to about $6,000 in retail if you were selling it at our prices. Whatever proceeds the school makes, and we're hoping to do that every year continuing going forward, and then you can turn that into a scholarship, which there would be some CVS maneuvering on how we would choose the person who wins the scholarship. But it would be something that we would recognize very largely. We'd have board members come down, recognize the student, and offer them a scholarship with the proceeds. And I'm also working with them to match whatever the proceeds are. So for instance, if the school raised $1,800 out of the school store, I'm trying to convince CVS that we should do a minimum $5,000 scholarship, and they put up the rest. And also we'd be warehouse replenished by CVS. So when you start running out of product, depending on what the sales are, all you'd have to do is reach out to me, which I'm the Workforce Initiative Manager, and send me an order form. And that would be taught to the students through our curriculum, and we'd have it delivered immediately to the school so that they could replenish their stock. The retail management program also comes with a store management development program, which would allow anybody going through marketing to segue into the workforce in a supervisory role, not as a cashier. You spend 3 years of your life learning how to run a store. You don't want to be stuck behind a register for $9 an hour. So getting the retail management program here, we'd be able to teach them how to read P&Ls. We'd be able to teach them inventory activity, merchandising. That way they could command a supervisory position with the amount of experience they'd have. We'd also offer the accelerated development program, which is a competency-based curriculum. Same LearnNet access for the marketing students. On-the-job training, so group training at live stores beginning sophomore year. They learn how to do deliveries, planograms, seasonal sets. And I've already secured 4 field trips to the Regional Learning Center, the Distribution Center in Rhode Island, the new digital location opening in downtown Boston, and our Minute Clinics. This is my CVS Regional Learning Center, so I'm in charge of this. I'm in charge for maintaining and developing all the curriculum that's taught to the 5,000 employees in Massachusetts for CVS. So we have the Boston Regional Learning Center, which is on-site mock training. We'd be able to offer that to the teachers as well as the students if they came for field trips. We'd be able to offer store management evaluations where store management would come in, evaluate the program, make sure that it's being taught to the CVS standard, and offer any input to help. We'd also offer field colleague evaluations where the field colleague trainers can meet with the teachers and make sure that the teachers are on the right course, and also offer any feedback for integration because they all have real-world experience. Then we'd also be able to offer job readiness presentations to the entire school, whether it be business correspondences, interview skills, resume building, networking, interactive store tours, or career pathing. And one of the biggest things, the biggest hurdle we have right now is students as applicants passing our virtual job trial. We'd offer support and show students how to pass our virtual job trial so they could secure any position inside of CVS that they would like. This is just a quick thing on our LearnNet, just shows you what our pages look like. So it's module completion, digital training booklets accessible from home. You'd be able to make your own curriculum plan or a My Learning plan. And the best thing is it can be merged with the CVS transcript if the student chooses to pursue a career with us. And then cooperative opportunities. These are all the stores in the area that I've already secured that are willing to support this program. So we have both stores in Lowell, the one on Middlesex Street, the one on Bridge Street. I'd put them in downtown Lowell, but that's just not safe. Then we've got the 2 stores in Draycott, the 2 stores in Chelmsford, both stores in Tewksbury, Andover, and both stores in North Andover. All those managers are ready, willing to take these students under their wings and teach them through the co-op program, and as well as field trips and anything else like that. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, Mr. Silva.
Yes, sir.
Great work in preparing us to find out what CVS can do for our schools. And now our school committee men, I'm sure, are going to ask you a number of questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Boot?
Do I have to make a motion to approve first? That's the question?
Maybe some discussion first.
Okay. Where would the store location be? Have we identified a spot?
So, yes, we have. So there's 2, there's 2 units, or 2 mock-ups that Jonathan is offering to donate. So one being a store front, which would be part of our marketing program. So the area where we're currently using for Aramark, used to use it for lunch, we're still using it for breakfast. That's going to get phased out with the new CAF. So that would be the area that the CVS, so that would complete the mall as being completely being run by the marketing kids. They would now have a CVS storefront in addition to the varsity store and the shops that are across the way. The pharmacy, the mock pharmacy, where you'd be able to teach the kids the pharmacy technician program, which overlaps with our health assisting frameworks and our medical assisting frameworks. Obviously, the marketing lines up perfect with the entire marketing framework. The pharmacy tech overlaps with parts of the framework. We've identified a large classroom in medical assisting, health assisting, I'm sorry, that the junior students are in, but the junior students are actually out most of the, or all day, because they're in the CNA training out at the local site, so they're really just there for homeroom. So this would fit well into a little more than half of it, still leaving a classroom adjacent to it, which would be adequate, and actually would augment the training, because they'd be able to take the kids in the class environment, and then they could go back and forth to the pharmacy tech piece. So Peggy Sarmento and Maureen Griffin have been working real closely with Jonathan to figure out exactly where it would go and how it would work. So we have located just where it would go.
Great. I thank you for coming. This sounds like a win-win. Excellent.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things, and we talked about this extensively at my corporate office, is we wanted to make sure that you guys understood that we're not looking to influence the students to come work for us. We're looking to offer them the training they need. If they decide when they graduate they'd rather go to Walgreens because that's where they're used to shopping, or they want to go work at a private pharmacy or a different prescription by mail company, that's totally fine. Our biggest goal was to impact the community and offer the students a way to succeed in their career.
It's a great way to do it. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Mr. Lemay?
Well, I'm gonna say that we must be blessed either because you're a graduate or, I don't know.
That's what it is.
You can
That's what
blame it on
Graduate.
info 15 years ago. Product of info.
I'm
Which
very,
is what now, business?
I'm pretty intrigued about this because being a baby boomer myself, my information tells me as we move on in life, pharmacies are a big thing in the future. And we don't have many, no, I'm serious, and there aren't many pharmacy colleges in the Commonwealth. I'm just wondering, are we blessed because you're a graduate here, or are you doing this throughout the Commonwealth, or?
No, it was literally, I even brought a newsletter with me. When I first got hired, I was interviewed by CVS on what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
And I mentioned doing something at Greater Lowell Tech has always intrigued me in my entire career at CVS. And then when I got promoted to the position I'm in, my boss said, what do you want your first project for the year to be? And I said, do you know what a technical high school is? Because that's what I want my first project for the year to be. And that was this.
and they welcomed you with open arms,
They
apparently.
thought it was phenomenal because they've never done it. They opened a tech training program in Davies High School that was state funded. They've never done one where it was initiated, everything was donated, with the potential to put a marketing component with it as well to represent the storefront as well as the pharmacy. So they were very excited to do it. And one of the biggest things is innovation. So because we've only done it once at the request of Rhode Island, because that's where our corporate office is, no one's ever had the ambition to think, most students to go to a technical high school want to be ready for work. Honest answer, okay? So my thought process was, we put it at Davies, 10 kids go through it a year, but Davies is a regular high school. Why can't we put it in a technical high school where the students can invest their time and have a career path when they get out? My whole family went to school here. 2 of them just graduated this year. And the biggest accomplishment they had is the fact that this summer they're working in the trade that they went to school for. So Calvin's going into plumbing, and Christopher's going into masonry, and they have summer jobs lined up, and they're very excited about it, and that's what they're going to do to continue to pay for college as they go through college. But the fact that we can offer these skills to them is a win, and the fact that CVS is always looking for great employees, and how vested will these students be when they spend 3 years of their life training to be a position that is so lucratively needed in my field.
The other 2 parts are, with the expansion of the school and coming up with the space, and we've been talking all year about the co-op program, the ups and the downs and what we'd like to see happen, and you come in as a breath of fresh air, so I
So
I'm happy, I'm impressed of what's going on.
I believe it was 1969, the school entered into a partnership with the Lowell Five.
Yeah.
The Lowell Five has proven to be an outstanding partner. They support our charitable golf fundraiser. They have a branch here. They have a full-time manager of the branch here. Stacy Bazanson, our co-op coordinator, tells me they hire our kids on co-op and all the different branches. You walk into any branch and just ask who went to school at Greater Lowell, at least half of the people working in the branches answer going to go up. What Jonathan's bringing to the table is a similar type partnership. That's how you build a co-op program. You got 9 or 10 employers that are willing to hire our kids, but you've got a company that's willing to also provide us with the resources to better train them so that they'll be able to move along quicker and be successful quicker.
He's already got a dozen stores on
I
board
got-
willing to.
On board, ready to roll.
When I met with Jonathan and I saw the presentation, at the end of the presentation, he shared with us exactly why he's doing this. This school has made a tremendous impact in his life. Would you mind sharing that with the board?
No,
Jonathan?
one of the biggest things, and sometimes I get choked up, but I've been practicing this. So my father passed away my sophomore year, okay? So sophomore year, didn't know what I was gonna do, wasn't sure where to go. So I had the phenomenal teachers that were in info at the time, which was Maureen Griffin, which was Paul McNeil, Leo Dunn, Martha Nunn, took me under the wing and made sure that I didn't bounce out of high school. They got me, I'd say, the help I needed. They taught me the skills I needed so that I could be successful when I left the school. And then we'll even take it to cosmetology, where Deborah Hayden helped me secure scholarships for college, okay? Then we fast forwarded to Sheila Herbert, who was the superintendent at the time, signed me up for all kinds of public speaking engagements where I would speak to youths and speak at the Lions Club to get more scholarships so that I didn't have an excuse not to go to college. And that was all provided to me from this school because I had 4 brothers who also went to school here. And my mother, who was an immigrant from Portugal, when my father passed away, he was the breadwinner. I didn't know what I was doing. And the school took me under my wing, made sure I went in the right direction. I used to film these school committee meetings back when we had the cameras back here with Jack Hall, and I used to edit them in the thing, and the school really impacted my life. So when I got this position where I could make a difference, if I could impact 5 students positively the way I was impacted, that's a win for me.
I'd say another success story. Sign him up, Mr. Superintendent.
And one thing I was explaining, which this is entry level. This is just rubbing nickels together to make dollars. CVS is a huge company with very deep pockets. The success of this program can only benefit the school in other ways, whether it be through donations, through sponsorships. So we work with Jewish Vocational Services in Boston, right? Just for partnering us with the program, we give them a $50,000 donation every year, just for partnering us with the program.
Wow.
That comes out of my department. We work with Bunker Hill Community College, same type of deal. We offer various different scholarships. Easter Seals, we give them $250,000 a year for a golf tournament. Golf, worth $250,000. Crazy, So when you
Careful,
look,
the superintendent has a golf.
I'm just saying, So the partnership is something that right now it's crawling, and we're staying curious to see what we can develop. And crawling, it's already impressive. What's going to happen when we're running?
Outstanding. Mr. Tatsias?
Everything sounds wonderful. I'm just curious though, does this create a new program, or can we just integrate this with what we?
No, the business storefront program,
Right.
the front of the store program, lines up with everything we're already teaching in marketing. So it just enhances it and brings it to another level, provides more resources. The pharmacy tech program is taught as a component of health assisting and an even larger component of medical assisting. It's already in their frameworks. We're already teaching it. We're going to be able to teach it a lot better with the resources that
Be able
Jonathan
to teach it at the
is bringing
industry
to the
level.
table.
I thought maybe it would add to what,
Yeah, no, it's just going to enhance and allow us to be able to teach better, more effectively with these resources and with the partnerships. I mean, Stacy could spend a whole year trying to get 6 or 7 more, employers to take our kids on co-op. Jonathan's bringing them to the table. He's already gone out and visited them and talked to them. So, yeah,
This is exciting.
this is really exciting. Yeah, really exciting. We're really, really grateful.
Great, thank you. Mr. Espinola?
Jonathan, I share your sentiments about being here, and obrigado, mi amigo.
Absolutely.
I went through the similar thing here. I only wish I could bring something that you brought to this school here. I only ran for school committee. The school made it the same impression on me, and I think that there are more people like yourself that graduate from this school than there are not. And that's what this school is all about. I applaud you for this. I thank you for this, and I think this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Booton, second by Mr. Lemay. Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Absolutely.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Since we're using adjectives, definitely.
All right.
You came in here as Jonathan, and you leave here Mr. De Silva. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, guys.
Opportunity
Thank you
to
again.
get Lowell
Thank you.
Tech.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it back.
No, definitely.
Jonathan, this is great. Thank you very much.
Nice job. Thank you. You can get that stuff out of your garage now.
I know, right?
Great work. Thank you so much.
Jonathan, do you have to pull the,
Yeah, I'll grab it in a
Thank you,
second.
thank you. I know you did some work on this too.
Thank you, Maureen. Maureen and
Peg, thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Peg.
Excellent.
And Mr. O'Hare was here too.
He was here, yeah.
Because I remember him too.
I'll have to tell George that.
Okay, second item in my report is
Thank you.
for out-of-state travel. Our Director of Practical Nursing and Continuing Education has an opportunity to attend a workshop in Washington DC, and we need to get your approval for anything that's out of the New England states, so I would recommend and seek your approval for her trip.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Booton. Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Third item on my report would be, I would be seeking your approval for the 2015-16 revised student handbook. Assistant Superintendent Principal Jill Davis is here. Answer any questions that you might have. I know you've got the updated version as well as all the changes that have been gone into it.
Any questions?
Okay. Mr. Booton?
The page 3,
Are we referencing the student handbook first?
no, on the change sheet on the summary.
Yeah, this is the student handbook.
The student
Yep, this is the
handbook.
student handbook. Yep, that's what we're starting with.
Start with the,
A lot of reading this past package.
it's only good
On
reading.
Very enjoyable. Page 3, number 19, cell phones, other personal electronic devices. That the kids can't use these during any other time than lunch or before school and after school. I guess I'm still struggling with this. I've been struggling with this since my kids went to the Innovation Charter School, where it was allowed if they were out in the halls. I know we don't want a bunch of kids walking around looking down at their phones, but I'll plead guilty to texting my son to make a plan for after school, and I know he wasn't answering it at lunch. Is it too restrictive? Is there something has anybody looked at this, what other schools are doing?
For restricting,
They, no, and I guess from the fact that when you get out into the real world, when you get out into the business world, there's certain times that you can use the phone. I mean, this says you can't even have them in sight, when they're walking in the
what
halls.
page is that again, Mr. Booton?
I'm on page 3 of the update.
Page 3 of the
But it's
revision.
27 of the handbook.
27?
Number 19.
So it looks like the change was that they're allowed to be visible now, they just can't be used. I think that's the
Correct.
change.
So I think I think we did that because the reality of it was
They
they are
do.
visible as long as they're not using them. Some of them have them out on clips, some of them, so they have been visible.
And I guess what I'm asking is, we're trying to teach them to, the soft skills to go out into employment. They're gonna have these at their store, so they should be learning when it's okay and appropriate, that if they're in a group talking, not to just pull your phone out and start checking your Twitter or Facebook or any of those, but there should be, I think, going forward, some sort of progression that allows the kids, if they're in the hall, to make a text or check a status or something like that. I know it's only, I think from what I read, it's only allowed at lunch. And there's times that kids work more now. They're texting their employers, they're texting family members about plans, something happened, a question a parent may have, if they need a ride home. We're very restrictive in it, and I'm not asking for a change now, but it brings up the question of, can we look at this policy next year or going forward if we could be a little bit more lax? I know kids are texting in the halls. I've seen it when I've come in. So,
We absolutely.
and there's
can
some
do that.
good kids, but I don't,
Can you imagine what would happen if we lax the rules?
what I would hope would happen is the kids would maybe have that freedom, but then they'd learn that it's not appropriate to be walking with your head down. So when they get to their job and then they have free use of their phone, they're not using it all the time. They know when it's appropriate and when not.
So they can use it before and after school,
Right.
just not in the hallways during passing time. And I think I'm hearing you say you would like us to talk about allowing
Not do it,
that.
just talk about it,
Okay.
find out a way that we can show kids, and the same thing with adults. You saw this big rush when all these apps came out, that people were on their phones, and that's starting to fade. And I'd like the kids to have the freedom that if they know they can look at their phone all the time, they're not always having to look at it when somebody's not looking. I want them to be ready for the workforce. So when they get there, they're not, I have this freedom. I think our policy is too restrictive. I may be wrong.
So I think we tried to make it less restrictive by removing the visible, by saying it's okay to have it showing in your hand, but you should not be using it. So I guess that's the first step to being,
I guess I'm
Least
looking more
res-
at the use of it,
Yeah.
is something to look forward.
yeah.
Not now. I
think
don't
we
want to
can
make any
be
changes
open.
here. I'm
Yeah,
okay with it,
okay.
but I think we need to keep an open mind that this is technology. This is how my calendar is on mine. Most of my communications are done through that now. Email, for work items. It's something kids, and especially the co-op kids, I'm assuming that their bosses are mostly texting them, if not emailing them.
No, I think it's a great suggestion, and I am starting some student advisory groups this year, and I think it would be a good discussion to have with students themselves to get their feedback on how we can work on improving this for the
Great.
best. So,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, next item?
Can I just follow up on that?
Oh, okay, Mr. Lemay, want to follow up on that? Go ahead.
I would think that it boils down to compliance as far as the students adhering in the event we do amend it somewhat. I suppose that's what we might be fearful of.
Yes, I think
Students
some
not
of the fear
complying.
is in the hallways, not getting to class on time, being on the phones, yes.
I mean, I know even in the workplace, it's restrictive in a lot of particular jobs. But in the school setting, I don't know, maybe, Ray, you would be more in tune, you're more of an IT guy than I am, but as much as we rely on some of these devices, there's a time and place for everything. I just don't know how that works out. I like the way that Jill is gonna look into it and set up some things.
That's all I'm asking
Yeah.
for, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lemay. Mr. Moran, on the
Yeah,
subject?
I'd just like to say, I agree with what's going on in the handbook. Coming as an educational, having been a teacher, that understanding what happens if these kids all have phones. I mean, they just started with the phones like 10 years ago when I was still here. And it's kind of an interruption. It's, they have phones and they're using their phones, and I look at it differently than you do. I think I look at it as from the educational part, that, you know, it's a disruption.
Please, if I can answer, I understand, I'm not saying they should be taking them out in class, excuse me, I gotta go take this call, absolutely not. But in the hallway, it is kind of sometimes their free time, or on the way to the cafeteria, if they could respond to something like that. I also understand the pressures that educators are under, or you're under, because if somebody checks their status and all of a sudden they're single and they were going out with somebody, that's gonna make for a tough rest of their day, and it's something you have to deal with. So I understand having the restrictions and the reasons why the restrictions, but I didn't know, I thought the hallway would be a place that maybe some restrictions would,
I mean, I also think that, you know,
parents contacting
in
kids.
some workplaces, I know it's different in yours,
Mm.
that, somewhere where I happen to work, it's not allowed during work hours. It's a similar situation.
Mm.
They can use the phone or text when they're at their lunch or their break or whatever, or an emergency situation.
Okay, I think we've discussed this pretty well. Now, maybe if Mr. Booton has another question about the student handbook.
I do. Bottom of page 3, it's student restraint policy. It actually goes on to page 4. You've got 5th paragraph, first sentence, senior assistant principal will identify, oh, I apologize, okay. I thought that was saying that both assistant principals could do this. So skip that, please. Go down to number 24 at the bottom of page 4. 24. Number 24, bottom of page 4.
Sure.
This is just on the brief update. Can we please change that from in-house and out-house to in-school and out-of-school?
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Tully brought that to my
We had that
attention last
discussion. We
time.
previously had that discussion.
Play with words.
So it'd be kind of crappy if
Sure.
somebody got stuck doing that.
Oh, no pun intended, right?
Unintended.
No pun intended.
So, page 5, the discipline part about no out-of-school suspensions in the 4th term, term 4 of a junior year, you wouldn't allow to be going on co-op. I know that's something new going forward.
It's, okay.
Later on, it goes on to say at certain points, discipline, nothing out-of-school suspensions within the last 2 months.
Where is that? Because
So-
one is for seniors
Yep.
and the
Yes.
other eligibility could be for juniors.
It didn't break it, so at the bottom of page 5, above that, the two
It
headings
said-
above it, it says discipline for out of school, and that's for seniors, if
Yep.
they had a suspension in the 4th year. Then it continues on page 6, it goes down attendance, grade requirements, and discipline again. So there's 2 spots of discipline on there.
Well, it talks
So-
about second,
yeah.
third, and 4th term eligibility is based on the following. So the first one talks about seniors.
Seniors so that they're not junior, and that's what I'm saying. So wouldn't it just make sense to have two months? So if you have a senior that starts, they had something at the beginning, a suspension at the beginning of their 4th term, and they go 2 months without one? Why hold them up the whole time before they get out on co-op if we're doing it once they're back in school in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th term?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I follow so there's a lack of consistency. So
That's all.
in the junior year, I mean, going into co-op in the senior year, if you were suspended in the 4th quarter of junior year, you're not eligible first quarter. But then for the other quarters, it's not the whole quarter, it's only the 2 months. So it should either be that
Prior quarter?
the prior
or
quarter all the way
2 months?
through, or the 2 months all the way through. There's a lack of consistency there.
Wondering if it's to send a hard message, then you say the
Generally,
full quarter?
Yeah, generally co-op, what you tell the students is that they're never more than a quarter away from being eligible.
Okay.
So if you had a suspension in the last quarter and you don't get one in the next quarter, you can go out the quarter after. If you had, poor grades or your teacher's recommendations weren't there, you're always 1 quarter. So if you can straighten it out next quarter, you're out the quarter after. So the inconsistency in a quarter is around 2 months, right? So I think if we just change the second one to be the previous quarter, then
That could be 4 months if you did it at the beginning of the quarter. Again, just the consistency was kind of surprising.
No, a quarter's 10 weeks, right? So
For
it's,
2 months. Could be, and then you have to finish one
So in order
quarter,
to
if
be
it's not
eligible.
2 months.
In order to be eligible for the third quarter, the 2 months previous, you would have not had been suspended, which,
Right.
if you add 2 weeks to that, it would have been the whole quarter.
Yes.
Right, but if you add the two together, if you get the beginning of your fourth quarter in your junior year,
Yeah.
you can't go for 10 weeks because it's your junior year, but then you're waiting another 10 weeks, which is 2.5 months to go out again. So,
So if you.
20
if you get
weeks altogether.
If you get suspended in the fourth quarter,
yes, beginning of the fourth quarter.
you can't go out first quarter, but if you don't get suspended in the first quarter, if that's the only eligible, you go out the second quarter.
I understand that, but if it's been 2 months since your suspension, there's still.
You mean if you get suspended at the beginning of the
Yes.
quarter?
All I'm
Okay.
saying is,
I
it was
see.
a small inconsistency.
Okay.
Is it more important to get them out on co-op, or is it more important to put your foot down and say, suspensions, you're not going out? I just thought you'd wanna, it's a small thing, but
Okay, so,
I would look at, you'd wanna be,
so we're looking at changing page 6,
So
no,
we're looking at either
is there a
changing
reason-
pave.
Is there a reason not to? I mean, I'm not really splitting hairs, I know there's a lot of
I
time.
have to think about it
In a
a little
marking
bit more,
period,
it's too
All
quick
the other
right now.
requirements are based on the quarter before, like it's a quarterly grade that you have to improve in order to go out. So I would lean towards making it the quarter before, you know?
Okay.
So if you were suspended in a quarter, then you're ineligible to go out until the next quarter. As opposed to if you were suspended the second week of the
So
quarter,
I
you might be
think
eligible to go out the last week of
That's
the
fair,
quarter.
because I think 2 months is meant to be the
The
quarter.
quarter, yeah.
Yes.
And then it's consistent with the grades and with everything else, that it's a quarterly requirement, yeah.
Within
And
the
then it would be
last quarter,
consistent.
so
So if you change the discipline.
no
on
out-of-school
page-
suspensions within the last quarter.
The previous quarter.
previous
Yeah,
quarter.
The previous quarter, so you'd want to make that amendment to this, that change.
Throughout.
Previous quarter.
Throughout, not whatever okay, I get it.
Any other questions, Mr. Booton?
Thank you very much. No?
That's enough.
Anybody else?
It was can I make a comment? I mean, you've done an amazing amount of work, and it's incredible what you've done. So please don't take those few small items that
Oh, no.
I found as
That's
anything
great.
but a compliment, because you made some fantastic changes in here. I could commend almost every single one, so please, nice job.
No, I appreciate
And
your
there's a-
feedback.
There's a minor typo on the Twitter account address, so that'll be corrected. It says at Greater Lowell Tech.HS, and it should be _HS. So it's just a very minor typo that we're gonna fix. And that's also in the teacher's handbook too, we're gonna correct that.
Okay, so I see underscore here. In the book on
In the
page 7.
book it's underscored?
Yeah, in the
Okay,
book
but
it's
it's not on the
underscored, but
revision
not
page?
on the sheet.
Okay.
So
So
in
the
the
book
book it
that you're
is
gonna approve is
underscored.
accurate.
It is
Okay.
accurate.
Okay, is there a motion to?
But can I just add something? There is a change. The notification will air at regular intervals beginning at 6 a.m., period. So instead of saying,
Page 1,
I'm sorry, page 7 in the book,
page 1 of the revisions.
page 1 of the revisions,
Just above number 8.
in red, it says notifications will air at regular intervals between 6 and 7. It should say beginning at 6 a.m. And once they're on, they continue to go on all day. They don't end at 7.
Okay, great, thank you. Motion by Mr. Espinola.
Minor typo, paragraph number 5, you use EY.
Always protect your own name, my friend.
That's an important one.
You look at it,
Never know, somebody may have to call the law office.
I didn't read it.
Number 5 on the first
Okay,
page.
so it's in the book too. On page, I got the book. Okay.
Motion by Mr. Espinola, seconded by Mr. Tatsias. Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
And the fourth item on my report would be the approval of the teacher's handbook, which you just approved a few months ago.
Okay, the teachers.
The teacher's handbook, you just approved it a few months ago because it was, there was a labor practice issue that Jill resolved and
And
had it
you
all
sug-
rewritten. And then at the time, there were some suggestions for a few changes that I think Jill's incorporated.
And I just want to add, there is a change that I think Mrs. Goslin has given you since then, a change in the calendar.
New place tonight.
That in the book, it's page 36 in the book. There is a change in the calendar. We
George,
just revised the
single
calendar.
piece of paper we handed out.
It's probably underneath your package.
Say page 9.
Okay, any questions about the teacher's handbook? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Espinola, motion, seconded by Mr. Moran.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
And the next item on my report would be approval of the 2015-16 school improvement plan, which is under the tab for the superintendent's report. Jill worked with the school council as well as a group, if you want to explain the
Yeah,
process a little bit, Jill?
Sure. So to develop the school improvement plan, I get input from the school council, which Mr. Booton, you're aware of, is made up of teachers, students, parents, and community members. So they provide me with input to develop the school improvement plan, as well as I had a school improvement planning team within the building, made up of teachers and administrators that met, and we met for several months, looked at the school-wide data from the school report card, 2014 school report card, looked at how we are progressing, and from there, developed where we need to go, and then set goals based on where we need to move forward. Again, as I said last year, the goals in the school improvement plan are aligned to the standards and the educator evaluation frameworks. All four of the standards, the goals, integrate with those standards. So when teachers are working on their own professional practice and student learning goals, they can reflect on the school improvement plan and create their goals around the goals in the school improvement plan. I also did include an update as requested by Mr. Tully at the last year's meeting. He wanted to see the progress that was made from last year's school improvement plan, and that was included in your packet as well.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Booton?
I just had to give you a compliment that it's amazing when you implemented the X2 program 4 years ago, and this is the first class that we've had, or graduating class, that used X2 from the beginning, and to be up to 88% of the parents checking the portal. I'm convinced that that's part of the reason our students are doing so well, is because the parents have direct access to their grades every day, almost in real time, within a week. They know where their kids are at, where they need work, and the communication from it is excellent. So
I'd have to give some credit to Chad Fallon and the assessment department for really doing a good job with promoting the portal and providing assistance to parents to access the portal. So I think it's great. It is a good way to increase communication with parents, and it has increased communication with parents as well as students, because now students have access to the portal as well.
This is if I could just go ahead and say something. This is a great comparison to what you've done last year to moving forward this year. You know, we've had the Alice training. We've had our student activities club go from 8% to 15%. Our co-op eligibility went from 36% to 43%. Our athletic, people trying out for athletics went from 34% to 46%. This really does speak loudly for all the hard work you've done with this school improvement plan. So if you can echo more of the same increases, then I'm sure this school committee would be very proud.
I will try my hardest, Mr. Chairman. But I also like to thank the superintendent, because I think it's his efforts in trying to create a professional learning culture and building that professional learning culture that has really shown its impact in these areas throughout the school.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the school improvement plan with Mr. Booton, seconded by Mr. Tatsias. Roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
yes,
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
So can I just add two things that I forgot to add?
No.
One is we're going to try to go digital with the handbooks this year. So we're going to provide a hard copy to the freshman parents. However, for upperclassmen, the student handbook will be available online. And we will, when we put it online, and I'll send a Connect Ed message call home, I will let parents know that they can request a hard copy if they choose to. So most schools in the Commonwealth do have it digitally. I think, to start off with upperclassmen and provide the freshmen, since they're new to the building, with the hard copy, I think we're moving in that direction.
I have a question. When you also send out emails? I know you do Connect Ed. Do you also do emailing to the parents?
So as part of the Connect Ed call, yes, there is an email that, if they signed up that way, you have to sign up with a phone number and an email address to receive it both ways.
So usually we should have them when they go into X2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my suggestion would be to put a link to it on the email so they can click on it, have it. Because if you say it's on the website, majority won't, but I doubt you can attach it. I assume the document would be too large.
Yes.
So you could do a hyperlink on the email, and that would allow everybody to have a quick access
Okay.
to it, and maybe they will read through it. Hopefully they will.
Okay,
Thank
that
you.
sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
What was the second item?
That was it. It was just digital. It was gonna be hard copy for the freshmen, digital for upperclassmen. And I talked about it with the school council, with the administrators and with teachers, and everybody seems to agree. But I think your suggestion of sending the link home with it is better. So,
Nice job, Ms.
thank you,
Davis.
and I just like to say thank you to all of you.
We'll link
And-
it prominently to the webpage, to the homepage of the website.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for your support and working with you this school year.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
The next item on the report is the athletic handbook. There were pretty minor changes on the first page.
Athletic handbook.
Pardon me?
Is it inside?
So it's
Under
the
superintendent's
inside the
section.
book.
superintendent's report,
Halfway through,
Right
Joe.
after the school improvement.
right after the school improvement plan, and then the concussion policy.
Motion to accept the athletic student handbook
Motion
by
approved.
Mr. Espinola, second by Mr. Moran. Roll call.
Mr. Gigi,
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare, Mr. Espinola.
Yes.
Mr. Booton,
Yes.
Mr. Lemay,
We went
Yes.
Mr. Warren,
by it. Yes.
Mr. Tatsias, Mr. Bahu.
Yes.
And the next item is the policy on head injuries and concussions and extracurricular athletics. Again, there's 5 edits to that from last year. Another requirement of the school district to have this policy. I'll be looking for approval for that as well.
Okay, motion to approve by Mr. Booton, second by Mr. Lemay. Question, Mr. Lemay?
Yes, to the superintendent. Judging by this document, this is the first time since 2012 it's been updated?
I believe that's, yeah, I think 2012 was when.
You know,
we were-
on the national scene as well as local, there's been a lot of discussion relative to concussions, what have you. I was just wondering are we governed by additional CMRs under the Commonwealth now relative to this with some of the changes in this document?
No, this initially was mandated, I guess, in 2010, Mass Department of Public Health. And they provided the template, and we just, basically put in our school, the school contact information where it was needed. And now, these are the 5 changes that are keeping us up to date with recent developments. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so these changes are in response to recent developments.
Yeah.
To make it a better policy.
They must make recommendations to us.
I'm sure,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, these, Jill?
Yes, yes, These changes are based on the changes to the regulations in regards to concussion, so
Yep.
everything is up to date, yes. And the policy should be updated every 2 years.
Every two, is that what they?
Yes, so now it's
On schedule.
That's all they need.
on
Thank you,
schedule.
Raj.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
And the last item on my report, I'd like to defer to the end of the meeting. I'd be requesting executive session. We have two collective bargaining agreements that we'll be looking to ratify tonight.
So moved.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bourgeois, for
Thank you.
an extensive report tonight.
Thank you.
Now we'll have the report of our business manager, Mr. Garabedian.
Yes, good evening. First of all, the first item on my agenda here is, I want to introduce you to Kelly Walsh. She's the Aramark Food Service Director for the district. Kelly came to the district in late January? Early February,
yeah.
to train as our former director, Amanda Muniz had moved on. And Kelly was fortunate enough to come on just as we were ready to open up the new cafeteria.
Oh, good
So,
timing.
came in running.
Perfect time.
And as typically is done at the end of the year, the past few fiscal years, in June, we've had the director come and give a short presentation to give a little overview on how the year went and what the new year holds for us, and as well as discuss a little bit on this pricing equity issue. So I will, under my section, about 4 pages in, there's a colored PowerPoint printout that Kelly prepared that she will go over with you.
So a little about my background. I'm a registered dietitian, so healthy eating is sort of on my forefront. So I'm sort of trying to change that, along with the regulations that are coming along with school lunch. That's just my passion is healthy eating. So when I came on board, we opened the new kitchen and servery in February and March. It's been great. It has allowed us to reduce our labor costs, which returns more money. We've been able to expand our menu offerings. We're able to serve a better quality product because our food is cooked on demand. So it's prepared and then it goes right onto the serving line. We don't have to cook it at 6 in the morning and keep it in a warmer and transport it across the school. So it really allows for a better product, and the kids seem to enjoy it more as well. And then this year we underwent an administrative review in April. That's done every 3 years by the USDA. They come and review all components of the National School Lunch Program. So we had that in April, and it went well. There are some minor findings that we're in the process of just fine tuning. And our reviewer was very pleased with the operation. I just have, if you follow along on the slide, just some new menu additions we've done, where an emphasis on fresh vegetables, fruits liked by kids, but to get them to eat more vegetables, we're trying to do creative ways. We have yogurt parfaits now, which is a kid's favorite, and their absolute favorite is a nacho bar we do. But to try and make it a little more healthy, we allow the toppings to go in a salad bowl now. So we really are taking stuff that they like, and I'm sort of trying to figure out how we can make it a little more healthy and include more fresh and fun produce and additions. So that's been well received. Going forward for next year, we've noticed a slight drop in breakfast participation, and we all know how important it is to eat breakfast, and our goal next year will be to increase those numbers by offering new menu things. In the past 2 weeks, we've started doing smoothies in the mornings. So that's been fun for the kids, and they're asking about them at lunch, and we say, oh no, like they're for breakfast, trying to get them to come. People aren't hungry. It's a great way to provide nutrition without having to feel like you're eating a lot. We're going to continue modifying labor so it can best tailor the program. We didn't want to cut too many hours or make too many drastic decisions right off the bat. So now that we know we're in a groove now, we can sort of just have labor better play into it. At Airmark, we follow a core menu. We also are going to expand offerings such as we have a panini maker. We have this awesome pizza oven. If you guys have ever been down there, it's great. The product that comes out of there is great. And we're also doing a daily hot vegetable, which the kids, believe it or not, they want, like, people don't think kids want healthy, but here I've seen them really react well to it. We do sweet potatoes. They get like mushrooms, summer squash, zucchini. We get a lot of fresh produce from the Department of Defense, actually offered up funds. So we get grapefruits and strawberries and peaches. Really fun things for the kids that is sort of different from the apples and oranges they normally get. And also what I'm really excited about is we're going to better utilize technology that's available for school lunch programs. Our administrative assistant, who's been with us for 40 years, is retiring. So we're kind of taking this opportunity to find a way to see what's out there in technology that'll help not have to we won't have to find a replacement. We can use technology to make the job more efficient, yes. So free and reduced applications will be available online. There's going to be an online program where parents can pay their student account balances. Parents can look at what their balance is, what kids are spending money on, which is will be awesome because that's a lot of our phone calls. We want parents to be in the know, so that's going to happen, and that'll be explained in the letter home that we'll put together this summer that they'll get.
And if I could add to that, I hadn't even shared that with Roger yet. We were just meeting on that a few days ago. And
Surprise!
We actually had Kelly's counterpart from the city of Lowell over here to guide us in those directions. So it's something that we are working forward for the new year.
Lowell also has Airmark, and Sharon Lagasse's the food director over there. So we're sort of mirroring what they're doing. So we know that it's worked and we know it's successful, and she's been a great mentor in helping us do it the right way. And they have a team of 4 people over there, so I can call them up at any second, and they've been able to help sort of put us on the right path. So I think this will be a great addition to the program and will make the parents feel more involved with what their kids have access to and are doing. Then the last part of my little presentation is about the price of school meals. One finding in our review was that our lunch prices are priced too low. The suggested price is to sell them for $2.69 for a lunch. Ours currently are $2. So there's a little equation that the DOE wants you to do to be in compliance. So it's to increase your current meal price by 2% and then add on 2.19% for inflation. And that price is what they recommend us to go to for next year, for this coming school year, to be more in compliance. So that would bring our price to $2.10. And George and I talked about how we don't want to increase the lunch prices to make it hard for the kids who can't afford it. But luckily, with the new way we're doing lunch applications and the way we're going to utilize technology, we have a feeling we're going to find more kids are going to qualify for reduced and free lunches during the outlets we're pulling in. So $2.10 is very low compared to what surrounding districts their going rates are for this current year. Lowell's at $2.05 right now, and if they were to have to next year, they were going to go to $2.15. They were going to increase it 10 cents as well. Tingsboro's at $2.65. Drake it's $2.75. The numbers are here. So $2.10 is really a great price for what the students are getting for their meal.
My understanding is that probably 3 or 4 years ago, the Department of Education's, or the U.S. Department of Agriculture is requiring us to do that every year until we get to their recommended amount. So for anybody that's less than the 269, if you're at 269, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you're under 269, you have to increase it this amount, and every year we have to vote to increase it this amount
And it-
until we get to 269.
And as
I
the chart
think,
said, right, we started this back in 2011, so
Yeah.
every year we've been doing, this is a,
And the rationale for that, from their point of view, is that they're giving us 269. That's what they're reimbursing us for. We're selling it for 210 to the kids that aren't on free and reduced lunch. The kids that are on free and reduced lunch, they're giving us 269. They're not giving us $2. They're giving us the extra 69 cents.
So they don't want our free lunch to subsidize
Right.
the paid.
The paid lunch.
So,
So this is an annual thing and Lowell Public Schools will have to add 10 cents to that. They don't have a choice.
yeah.
Yeah, but I agree, we don't want to add any more than that. Just what they're going to make us add is all we're going to add.
Yes.
Okay, question by Mr. Espinola?
If they suggest it to be 269 and we're charging $2 now or something, where does the difference come from? And is there a difference? And are we paying that out of our budget?
no, the cafeteria fund is in good shape. I mean, there are other revenues that come in through the sales, through like adult sales, they call them à la cartes. So those are revenues that come in that assist in keeping the prices down, have been keeping the prices down.
Okay, question by Mr. Lemay?
Yeah, to the superintendent, so are they mandating that we basically go up every,
Yeah, we don't have a choice. We have to go up by that amount. We need to get you to vote to do that, but we won't be in compliance.
yet we're not increasing or enhancing the meals, so to speak? Everything's relatively the same, but it's just the price?
The price is going up because they want us to phase in getting to what their reimbursement rate is.
We're gonna
But in
start
the
making fruit
program,
smoothies.
right, but in the
vegetables.
program, yeah, she's expanding the menu.
So I guess another way to look at it is we're almost 70% of kids that are on free and reduced lunch. So therefore,
What is the percentage?
it's about 70%.
It is that,
Yeah.
So they're giving us 269 for the kids who are on free and reduced lunch. The kids who are coming through and aren't on free lunch, they're not paying 269 like the government's paying for the free and reduced lunch kids. They're paying the $2 as well. So they want us to eventually move. They're not saying we have to do it all in 1 year. It's a phase in. You do this little incremental amount each year until you get to the reimbursement rate. So
Thank you.
it's reasonable.
is that something that you send out a notice to the home on? That they're,
Well,
How is that?
they're in the, they get notifications when we start the school year. These are the prices for the meals, I
So
believe.
this-
It'll be on the menu, and it's gone up a nickel in years prior. It's just always gone up a nickel, but now we're just asking it
So
to
the
go up a dime.
70% of kids that are on free and reduced lunch, this doesn't affect at
Not
all. It's only
affected at
going to
all,
affect
yeah.
the kids that aren't 10 cents a day.
Okay, Mr. Moran?
No, I agree. I think, but little increments instead of, let's jack it 50 cents, you know what I mean? I think, some of the families, a nickel here, a nickel there isn't too bad, you know what I mean? So,
Great, thank you, Mr. Moran. Mr. Booton?
Well, the $2 is a nice number. Somebody kid gives you $2, you're good. Somebody gives you $3, is that going to slow down the lines? I mean, are they going to have 90 cents waiting to give back to them?
Well,
I know it's only 30% of the kids that go through, because the other 70 just swipe.
But
What
aren't they on-
percentage of
A
your,
lot- a
what
lot of
percentage of your
kids-
30% have a swipe card that's being,
So a lot of our kids have money, you can add money to your account,
Right.
so you're not dealing with a majority of the
much
kids.
money?
But,
what percentage of the 30% have the swipes and which ones pay cash?
ooh, I wouldn't,
I don't have that.
yeah, I don't have that.
So my question then comes back to, is it gonna slow things down? Because there's already a bottleneck there getting the kids through. I have a student
Well,
here, so.
well, that's why the math equation turns it out to be 208. So we thought that would, so that's why we asked
You're
for
even better at
210.
210,
Yeah,
absolutely.
So 210's
Yeah,
like,
right.
yeah, but to solve the bottlenecking, we've come up with a few solutions. We have new POS register systems that are ordered and are in-house right now. That'll increase the the flow of the kids out, because right now some of our pin pads don't work. They're sort of old and slow. So we have troubleshooted and came up with that solution. We're also changing the layout of the registers, and we trialed it this past month, and it's going.
So the registers, there were 8 of them, but they were piggybacked.
Right.
So the kids had to get in line, and then they'd have to go by that person to get to the next one, and that was a slow process.
Okay.
So what we did is we just flattened them out. They're just straight across. You go and get in line, and there's only one register. So, and they're actually gonna do a little bit of work to rewire them for. We tried it out the last few weeks this year.
Yeah.
It works much better, it's much quicker.
Yeah.
And they'll make some permanent changes to the electrical system over
Let's
the
not
summer.
forget, it's a brand-new cafeteria, so there's some kinks they're gonna work out.
Yeah, it was
Sure,
just
we
a slight.
flying through
Yeah,
there.
it's been a great.
Kids will have plenty of time to use their cell phone after they eat.
Right.
The other thing we did too to speed it up is, we've balanced the number of kids in each of the lunches. So right now, we have 3 very large lunches and 2 very small lunches. Now, next year, we're gonna have 1 fairly large lunch, it'll be the freshman, it'll be right in the middle, but the others are gonna be about 400 each. So
Right.
therefore, we won't have those 2 other big lunches, so that'll flow a little better as well.
And the last comment I'll make is the food is much better. My son is a student here, and him and his friends do talk about the better food, like what they had for lunch, so you're doing a good job on that front, so.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to approve federal mandate of 10 cents per school lunch.
I just wanted to say thank you to Kelly and welcome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. This has been a great place. I've had a busy past few months, but now everyone's been pleasant. It's been great.
Okay, motion by Mr. Booton, second by Mr. Lemay, roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias? Mr. Booton? Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Kelly, thanks for a great presentation.
Oh, thank
We
you.
appreciate all the hard work.
Sure, of course.
One and then,
Stop by for lunch too if you guys are ever around during lunchtime.
Thanks, Kelly.
Joel, pay for
Parfaits, I'll try one of
Yeah.
Fresh fruit.
Mr. Garabedian?
While we're still on the subject, the next item is, speaking of Aramark, their contract, the current contract expires in June. And with these contracts, you have up to 4 annual renewals since our last solicitation. So as part of the process, the draft contracts go to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education just for a formal review of the, make sure all the specific pieces are in the contract. And when that comes back, they give you the approval to execute the contract. So I'm asking for your approval to renew the contract for next year with Aramark. I had some information in there. Right now, they're already surpassing the guaranteed profit of almost 144,000, and that was through April. So for the next contract, the financial attachment B, I have it enclosed here on the next page. Page in, gives a breakdown of the revenues and expenses and a projected return of $145,737, and asking for your approval to renew the contract.
Yes, I have. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Mr. Booton?
Is the 5% decrease in labor costs because we're not bringing it up to?
Yeah,
Commons?
that's, yeah, I believe that's because now they're not in 3 locations. You know, they're in the kitchen, they're in the mall, they're in the east and west, they're in 4 locations. Now they're centralized, so that,
Yeah, and food can be cooked to order, so you don't need so many people there so early in the morning. You can have them like just for 4 hours for the meal service and meal prep, and they're just as productive.
Okay. But you also said you're gonna be trying to do some of your labor to make more items like you are doing now, so, great, okay, thank you for answering that.
Mr. Moore?
Motion to renew the district's food service management contract with Aramac Educational Services LLC for the 2015-16 fiscal year, subject to the approval of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education.
Seconded by Mr. Espinola. Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
The next item is just a request of the committee to approve the surplusing of a couple of pieces of equipment, a plate maker and a power quartz heater.
Okay, motion by Mr. Moran, seconded by Mr. Lemay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
And then another piece here, I just wanted a little information. This past Friday, there was a $21,000 check, which are the proceeds from the golf tournament, that was processed on the warrant and deposited into the charitable foundations account. And I believe somebody asked last time how much the foundation balance is, approximately $472,000 at this point. And we just issued again another $24,000 in scholarship and tool awards this past May. So it's very, very rewarding.
Yep, thank you for that information, Mr. Garabedian. That was me that asked that question. It's exciting about to have those scholarships as well as to have $472,000 in our fund.
So
Hoping the CVS will be able to get that to $1 million.
Yeah,
really
your eyes,
quickly.
your ears perked up when I heard that. I saw that. The last item I had is a request, I have a list of year-end transfers, and this is typical of all prior fiscal years. We review the account balances, move the funds to where they're needed in various accounts, as well as we reallocated some available funds based on our capital equipment needs for the various shops after discussions with the administration, the department heads, and the superintendent. And these transfers are also necessary in order to help us meet our net school spending.
Question, Mr. Booton?
Do. One jumped out at me,
Yeah.
that we're going to gas. Is that natural gas?
Yeah, that's our gas account.
$100,000?
100,000, yes.
Were we short? Were we over budget?
Well,
Was
we
it the
were-
construction?
The budget, I level funded the budget, yeah, for this year, same as the previous year, at like 195,000. At the end of last year, our expense was about 208. So I was a little light from last year, but a combination of factors, Roger had questioned that, same item. Let me get my little notes here. Excuse me. We had in addition, we had a pretty extremely cold winter this year. I think you'd all agree to. So we did use more gas just on the fact that it was cold. The new units that were put in place this year, they're not yet tied into our control system. So, we've been at meetings and I think they had those things running straight, so there was no efficiency or management controls on those units yet. Another factor was the addition of the cafeteria. Another wing with gas heat came on board. So those are part of the factors that went into this. I think we knew that there was gonna be some shuffling of the utility costs between electric and gas, but we weren't sure how it was gonna play out with the addition in the renovation project.
And I'd just add to that, so last summer, they took, I think it's 13 air handling units off the roof. They replaced them, but they weren't gonna be tied in. They're gonna do 4 more this summer. And after these 4 are tied in, then they'll all go into the building management system. So we lost control of those 13 units. They just had to be set at a point and they just ran at that temperature all the time.
By
So-
manual.
Yeah. Now that, coupled with the fact that the The window replacements, which is gonna help us with our energy consumption, didn't really start until at the end of the winter. That's when they got going on that, right? So next year, we're gonna realize some savings from the perspective that we're gonna have much more efficient, windows and doors. We're gonna be tied back into the energy management system so that now that's gonna be able to turn down and turn up depending on the times. And the other thing is we did add a bunch of square footage between the cafeteria and that long entry hallway that we're now heating, that we weren't heating before. And we started heating that right after Thanksgiving. So I think the main reason for probably about maybe 50 grand of that was probably the inefficiency of not having an energy management system for the winter. And they had to err on the side of caution from the perspective that, people were coming in to teach class the next morning. They couldn't, have them at a temperature that if it got really cold in a specific night, that the next day would have a problem when they entered the building. They actually had people come in here at 5 o'clock to check to see if there were any problems. So I think the vast majority of that overage was a direct result of construction project. It'll be interesting to see how the efficiency of the new units, the efficiency of the windows reduce the bill, and whether that offsets the increased square footage. And the real thing we need to be looking at isn't the money. We should be looking at the BTUs of gas consumption to be able to compare that and figure out whether or not there was a net increase or.
I also realize when you're replacing a window, the window's out and there's heat escaping for all those windows.
Yeah.
Okay, just thank you.
Okay, but before I entertain a motion to transfer $762,660, I'd just like to make two comments about this. Firstly, we saved $110,000 from our net metering credit with our new electrical outfit that we're working with. I forget that Soltis.
Yeah,
Technology.
Salon 2, yeah.
And secondly, I notice of these 33 transfers, 21 of them go directly to capital equipment expenditures for the
correct.
benefit of our students, which are, anywhere from textbooks to welding machines, to kiosks, to encoders to go ahead and make our teachers better equipped using their whiteboards. So, great job in working this, and I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion for this transfer. Motion by Mr. Tatsias, second by Mr. Espinola. Roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garabedian. Great work as always. Okay, thank you. Any items under old business?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to take number 2 off and or we can do them separate if you want, number 2 and number 4. Seems like one man, one vote has been taken care of. The only question I would have is, could this come back and would we need to do it in the future in executive session? Should we keep it on?
I think maybe it's a good idea just to keep it on until all of the towns and city vote on it
Okay.
make it pass before we
Then
go ahead.
Then I'll
and
make my motion to remove number 4 from
Okay.
the old business.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Tatsias. And that would be to have the policy subcommittee draft a policy for staff bringing personal tools, teaching materials, and resources to school. Looks like you had you have a report and it's satisfied.
Policy's in and it's great. Sure.
Terrific. Let's take a roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, any items under new business?
I had one.
Okay, Mr. Booton?
I just wanted to say thank you to the superintendent, Assistant Superintendent Davis, the staff at the school, and everybody who worked on the graduation. Having it at the Songus Arena was fantastic. There were not many seats left. We filled the place. It was great to see that turnout of parent support for the kids, and especially to you, Chairman Bahu, who was enthusiastic from the first diploma you handed out through the middle, all the way to the left. I'm not sure who had more of a good time. You were the students, but you were a great representation, so I thought you did a good job, and thank you to the staff here for all they did. Teachers that went and volunteered their time.
Thank you.
And administrators, so it was a great job.
No, thank you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't especially point out that, Jamie Costa and Lauren Martin were really the spearheaded that. Jill did a lot of hard work. And the two senior advisors, Val Branco and Andy Maliwar too. Yeah, they did an outstanding job. And we're just looking at ways, we're already brainstorming ways to just bring it to another level next year too. It was exciting. The kids were excited. Yeah, it was a great night. And it was great for them to be able to have everyone from their family that they wanted to have there and not to be limited to only 4 tickets. That was the best thing of all.
Thank you, Mr. Bourgeois. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Booton. I think that graduation went off without a hitch. Last year at the Lowell Auditorium, we had people standing room only. It was very warm in there. It just didn't seem, there was a lot of people that were trying to get tickets. Well, this particular graduation at the Songus Arena, like you said, Mr. Booton, we pretty much, doubled the amount of people that attended the graduation. It went off without a hitch. Mr. Bourgeois shared with me that it was very much like a college graduation, and it was. It was enthusiastic, it was vibrant, and yes, I had a lot of energy, and I'm sure it was a lot of it due to the excitement that was happening in the room. Thank you for that. Okay, there are no committee motions tonight, so we could go ahead and approve May 21 Greater Lowell Tech High School Building Committee report.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Moran, seconded by Mr. Tatsias. Roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, if we could go ahead and entertain a motion for, firstly, the owner's construction contingency, cost estimates, budget revisions from the allotted amounts to the owner's contingency, so we can go ahead and keep enhancing our building. Motion by Mr. Tatsias, second by Mr. Moran. Roll
Mr.
call.
Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. And I'd like to go ahead and ask for a motion for our change order request for the sum of change order request number 10, for the sum of $341,762.86. Mr. Booton, seconded by Mr. Tatsias.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. And a motion for a 10-minute recess, so we could go into executive session to satisfy 2 contracts.
So we need a motion to go into executive session with the intent to come out of executive session and take votes in regular session.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Booton.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, 10-minute recess. Technical School District Support Staff Contract from July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017. Motion by Mr. Espinola, second by Mr. Tatsias. Roll call?
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the contract between the municipal employees, Council 93, in the Greater Lowell Tech School District for July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017. Motion by Mr. Booton, second by Mr. Moran. Roll call.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Everybody.
Mr. Booton, Mr. Gigi.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Booton?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yahoo!
Thought you were gonna say no.